난 사람들을 개인적으로 만나서 그들의 삶을 알아가는 걸 좋아하는 편인데 특히 여행할 땐 더 그래. 여행자들을 개인적으로 수천 명 만나봤고 그중 여행 연륜이 높은 노마드 같은 사람들과 교류를 많이 할 수 있었어. 그들이 가진 여러 공통점 중 하나는 자신이 가진 국적에서 느끼는 소속감에서부터 탈피를 했다는 거야. 그리고 나를 포함해 이런 사람의 대부분을 짜증나게 하는 빌어먹을 질문이 있어.
Where are you from?
제발 지겨워 죽겠으니 이 말 좀 쓰지 말아줘. 혼자 이 내용을 다루자니 지겹고 재미가 없어가지고 빅토리아와 이것에 대해서 얘기를 해봤어. So yeah, let me read the question. So where are you from? So Vivi. Oh shit, I have to look at you. Yeah. So yeah. So Vivi, what is your first thought if someone throw this question to you?
Where are you from?
Yeah.
Why are they asking what country I'm from?
Yeah.
Why is it important?
So yeah, that's the thought that you are having. Like, why is it important? That's the first thought you get to have when somebody asks, right?
Yeah, because
Okay.
I assume that they mean America. So, but I'm just wondering, truly, why do you want to know if I'm from America? Do you want to
Yeah.
know where I was born? Do you want to know what more specific details do you want to know? 'Cause-
Yeah.
yeah.
And also, I want to know this. I'm like 2 seconds before having mental breakdown from this shit.
Why?
I don't have a problem of answering the question, nor having problem with the person wants to know about me, that part. But the problem is when they immediately want to know this, when the encounter happened, like very early stage of encounter, and they have to ask this, then I feel suffocated because it means they want to frame me to understand on their own way instead of trying to get to know who I am as who I am. Trying to be open-minded and getting to know who I am. So I think it's very like a rigid, narrow way to sort a person.
Yeah, they just
Yeah.
want to pin you for
Yeah.
your nationality and
Yeah.
not for like other characteristics that you can categorize someone.
Yeah.
Because if you are going to categorize people, which everyone does,
Yeah,
you know, I would say most people do,
yeah,
just naturally categorize people. But it's just kind of like strange to do that based on nationality when there's more things that are, you know, if you're going to like be interacting with someone long term, or even whether you like develop a relationship with them, where they're from is so like insignificant compared to, I don't know, introvert versus extrovert,
Yeah.
or
yeah,
I don't know. There's so many other things that you can ask someone instead of where they're from, so that you then start building your judgment on that person. It's just strange that the first thing people ask to start that judgment building process and analysis inside their own head is, where are you from?
Why do you think most of people have this like urge to know this new person's nationality before anything?
I don't know. Maybe it's something to do with language learning, actually, because that's one of the first things that you're taught when you learn a second language is that, you know, the phrase, where are you from? I am from yada yada.
Yeah,
And that might have something to do with it as, like, the thing that you say to people. So, in English, that is what they do. They teach, where are you from, as the first kind of sentence or two sentences that you learn. Maybe that's why people want to. And it's like, it's kind of like, you know, breaking the ice.
yeah,
Breaking the ice, like, oh, how's the weather? You know, it's like cliche. And I think that's all it is. People don't really know what else to say, so they just ask, where are you from? Also, it's like, they do have this, you know, like, habit of categorizing people based on where they're from, and then starting that judgment process
yeah.
on that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. That it's deep seated, like it's rooted in the thought
But
process of
almost
most of
subconsciously.
people. Yes, which like identity is start from, you know, whether I'm a human or not, whether I'm a man or a woman, and then I think pretty much next step is what country I belong to. This sense of a belonging, this sense of having to have this nationality and identifying with, you know, themselves with this group, and they think this is kind of human nature, that everybody has to have this kind of sense of belonging. So, and then seeing the word and then seeing the human as they or us in this
You
way,
versus
yeah.
others, me
So
or us and others.
that's even more important than knowing that person's individual name to them.
I
yeah.
know,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the
like-
most irritating part, isn't it?
They don't even ask.
Like,
I've
yeah.
so many times they haven't asked my name, but
Yeah.
they've asked me like
Because
where are you
name is something doesn't concern them
Yeah, which is
compared to
strange.
this identification of who this is, what this is, you know. And for me, I think it's okay for those people like who never lived in other country or traveled to other country, or just simply didn't get to have enough experience with global people, national people, so that they are genuinely curious, and
Could be,
they
yeah.
it's a genuine how can I say,
Interesting.
curiosity and interest to know and expand, right, their consciousness and
Right.
learn. So that I think it's kind of innocent.
Like when we were
and-
hitchhiking in New Zealand.
Yeah, so
I
that-
think that's
yeah, in that case, we don't feel like irritated,
a little
right?
bit.
Yeah, like much less.
Mhm.
To the degree much less, and then we can respond to the simple question, saying that. However, like obviously getting to meet a lot of travelers, but when other travelers does
That's
this, is a
the-
fucking mental breakdown,
It's just like boring.
Yeah.
Like
It's like, I think for me, how to judge the person's conscious level, especially among the traveler, is pretty much that is the barometer, that person, whether that person throw the question immediately or not, then all right, you're the kind of traveler. That's
I mean,
think my
it's not
judgment
necessarily
goes.
like that. They could
Yeah.
just be trained habitually on this whole English communication thing,
Yeah.
breaking the ice. They could
Yeah.
simply be trying to break the ice, not necessarily like
But if they actually have experienced the world and traveled so many countries, and they must have met many people from many countries and other travelers, then they must have the sense that other travelers don't like this.
I mean, that's not true.
Not true,
all
they don't?
travelers
Yeah, I
do.
mean, like, don't you think like hardcore travelers and nomads, they don't like to
I
talk
think
about
it's
this?
not a hardcore or nomad thing. I think it's
Yeah.
a very individual.
Is
thing.
it? Oh, okay. Yeah,
I
it can
mean-
be. I think I just find it a pattern that like more you are like well traveled and really like experienced travel, then they have this sense of detachment from the belonging. to the
Yeah, I mean, it could be how many
nationality.
years you've been away from
Yeah.
your like birth country or your native
Yeah.
country, or when you do travel, how long you actually stay away.
I think there's kind of like pattern I start to notice. It is among the nomads, I think, because they don't ask us either, because they know it, and people don't ask that question from the beginning to us.
I mean,
Probably they also get irritated if when they are asked.
So yeah, it's just cliche and uninteresting.
If there is like alternative way, instead of giving the answer of the nationality name, what would you like to respond?
I guess I've tried like maybe joking or some
Yeah.
kind of like pun or something in the past, but I didn't like stick with that for very long. So I
Yeah.
usually just say Dothan,
Yeah,
and then they say, "What's that?"
yeah,
And it gives me a chance to explain the small town that I'm from instead of just saying USA and then them not asking, "Oh, what's that?" Because obviously they're not gonna ask that. I can also say Alabama because I usually get Alabama.
yeah.
What? Like it's some kind of like amazing thing that I'm from Alabama.
If they are U.S.
No,
from US?
no.
People outside of U.S.
Yeah.
knows that?
Yes,
Okay.
because of the song.
Okay.
Everyone does the song.
All right.
And it's always like this, like, Alabama. Like,
Mhm.
some people have told me I'm the first Alabamian that they've met.
I guess.
So I guess they think it's interesting. Maybe.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Mhm.
So I like to say from Alabama, anyways, because
see.
I also, enjoy Alabama. I
I
like
see.
Alabama. So I say that. I also say I'm from here because a lot of times it's like a taxi driver
Yeah.
asking me as I'm going home from work, and I say I live here,
Mhm.
and we have a funny conversation. I like that because they usually, a lot of times, especially with the taxi drivers in Georgia, they don't speak a lot of English.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's enough to have like a small conversation, though, and I've learned several words. I can't tell. And then another thing I do is just say guess.
Mhm.
Where am I from?
Mhm.
And that also is like fun and see where it goes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think I do it with these maneuvers that I
Yeah.
think it will be good maneuvers and lead to the better conversation. However, I find it's not so successful. Like when they say where you're from, and I say not so far from you. I'm your neighbor. Because basically we are all earthly. And yeah, there's sometimes I say I'm from Earth. We are all earthly.
But and then they look at you so confused.
Yeah.
They're like, but
Yeah.
where on Earth?
Yeah, exactly. And then, yeah, if they ask where, then it's like, it's not important, man. It doesn't matter. Or what else? Yeah, even say it like I'm from Mars. Like men are all from Mars. Then another thing is I answer with I don't understand. Then they say, what country are you from? Then I say, why do you ask? Do you work in an airport custom?
Yeah.
Like, I understand you work in an airport, yeah, but like, why you ask if you don't work in a custom? So yeah, this is kind of like offensive, I guess. Or
Some laugh.
yeah,
You've done that around me several times.
Yeah.
Some of them laugh.
And some people just don't get it.
Yeah, they don't get it. They're like, oh. Right. When you said this
Yeah.
before, you actually, when we were in New Zealand, you said, well, my passport says I'm Korean, so
Yes.
I guess I'm Korean.
Yes, that's how I said it. Oh, this one is, I think, good one. I said, I don't know. I mean, how do you know? Do you remember your own birth?
Yeah.
Like, that's true.
You can
It's
say a
like,
hospital. You can say
Yeah.
the hospital name.
Yeah, but still, like, do you remember which hospital you born? You don't remember what they said you born in that hospital, but you don't remember. You're not actually witness,
If I was ballsy
Yeah.
enough, I would say
Yeah.
my mom's vagina.
Oh,
I've
yeah,
seen
then-
that on the internet, but I haven't done that.
Everybody from vagina. Yeah.
Yeah, same place you are. Well, no,
Oh.
not your mom's vagina. That'd be weird.
Yeah. Oh, do you remember this couple said? That he said, once I said, oh, we are a bank robbery,
Oh,
I
yeah.
know, on the chase
Yeah,
from Interpol.
yeah, and they don't ask me.
And then they haven't asked anything
Yeah,
since.
yeah. Of course you don't know.
Alright. 여러분의 생각은 어떤지, 그리고 대안이 되는 대답으로 좋은 아이디어가 있으면 댓글로 남겨주면 좋겠어. 이건 우리랑 비슷한 처지에 있는 소수를 위해 편향적으로 만든 영상이니까 재밌자고 만든 영상이니 이거 가지고 심각하게 부들부들 해봤자 될 거 없어.